So the word convincing seemed to be some time to Mrs. Bromfay. She started to bring down fresh eggs, 2 dozen at a time, to build up the tickle's strength. For a happy period, my partners and I had 2 eggs each of for breakfast, but when the bottles of wine began to arrive, the real possibility of the situation began to draw on the household. It was to enrich Tickle's blood. Lunch became a ceremonial occasion with 2 glasses of wine before and several during the meal. So he could hardly believe it when the brandy comes to put a final edge on Tickle's constitution. For a few nights, the fine spirit was rolled around, inhaled, and reverently drunk. They were days deep content, stating with the extra egg in the morning, improving the substandard by the midday wine, and finishing the luxuriously round the fire with the brandy. It was a temptation to keep Trickle on the permanent guest, but I knew Mrs. Plumpy was suffering, and after a fortnight, felt compelled to on phone and tell her that the little dog was had recovered and was awaiting collection. Within a minute, about 30 feet of gleaming black metal drew up outside the surgery. The chauffeur opened the door. I could just make out a figure of Mrs. Rompe almost lost in the interior. Her hands were tightly clasped in front of her. Her lips trembled. Oh, Mr. Hediotto, do tell me the truth. Is he really better? So what happened? The Mr. Harriot and his partner, his condition was improving very fast because the doctor was giving him the natural treatment. You can see he started fighting with his meat with the other dogs. Then, when the news reached to Mrs. Pompey that the dog was recovering, so she started sending the eggs to them for recovering his blood, but for the energy, as if energy food. And doctor and his partner was using all those things because doctor is not giving such a rich food to him. That is why Mr. Harriot and his partner started eating those eggs in the morning breakfast, then improving the triggers blood. Mrs. Prompe is sending the bottle of wine, which is consumed by again Mr. Harriot and his partner. Then she sent the brandy also at that time. So what he is doing, they were taking before the lunch 2 glasses, at the time of lunch sometime. After the lunch also they are taking the brandy, wine and eggs they are eating. Means the thing is that they was just pampered that they have to put the tickle whole life with them. So they will got all these things for them, but it is not possible. They know that that lady was not living without the tickle. So after 15 days, the doctor called Mrs. Brompe that he is recovered. Now, if you want, you will come to the here and you will take him away. So Mr. Hediot used to really happy some days by having the extra eggs in morning, then having few glasses of wine in afternoon, and closing day by brandy at the night. But then he took the decision and called the Mrs. Prompe, and she was really worried. And on this side, Tickle was ready to take him back home. Tickle was really happy to see when she came. It's a means black metal piece. The writer compare for that it is there was a car standing in front of his hospital after the 30 minutes when he called to Mrs. Prompe. So she come with his car and she was just tied his hand standing in front of doctor that tell me the truth, he's all right and everything. He said yes, he's all right. Pickle was really happy to see, and then he called the Pickle and he comes in front of her mistress, and he jumped into the car. Mrs. Crompton said that she won't be able to ever thank him for what he had done, and also that the surgery had been successfully as Tickle has now cured. So because writer knows that I have to say about the surgery, because without that she was not just he's not ready to put the tickle in his hospital. So that is the thing. Yes, he is fine. There is no need you to go to call. I will go and fetch him. I walked through the house into the garden. A mass of dogs was hurtling around and round lawn, and their midst, uh, ears flapping, tail weighing, was the little golden figure of Tickle. In 2 weeks, he had been transformed into the elite, hard-muscled animal. He was keeping up well with the pack, stretching out of the great bounds, his chest almost brushing the ground. I carried him back along the passage in the front of the house. The chauffeur was still holding the car door open, and then Tickle saw his mistress. He took her off from my arms in a tremendous leap and sailed into the Mrs. Rompey's lap. She gave a startled "Oh!" then he had to defend herself as a sprang over her, licking her face and barking. During the excitement, I helped the chauffeur to bring out the beds, toys, cushions, coats, and bows. None of these had been used. As the car moved away, Mrs. Rumface leaned out of the window. Tears shone in her eyes. Her lips trembled. "Oh, Mr. Harriot," she cried, "how can I ever thank you? This is it from your surgery." So this is the thing writer wants to say, that whatever he had done, actually, that is not a that is a natural process, but because she was very much um, love to her dog, so that is why she was not taking these type of things. So now he will be cured. So let's, students, we will just go through the notes of the chapter.